Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Crokinole Happy Hour. The goal of this series is to connect all Crokinole enthusiasts, competitive players, and club/tournament organizers. We wanted to create a platform to get information out to the whole Crokinole community to use and share with each other. I just wanted to also put the word out. If anybody wants to get word out on their club or their tournament, to please contact us. We'll either have you on, or we can put out the information for you. And this is all possible by the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club and our sponsor, CrokinoleGameBoards.com. You gotta go check them out. Highest quality Crokinole boards and accessories at CrokinoleGameBoards.com. Also check them out on YouTube, Crokinole Game Boards on YouTube. They are always giving back into the Crokinole community. So go and please support them. That's CrokinoleGameBoards.com, built by players for players. Tonight on the Crokinole Happy Hour, we have two co-organizers of the newly formed Lake Champlain Crokinole Club. Club just started up within the last year. I asked these two gentlemen both to come on, share their experiences on opening up a new club, and also their experiences running their first tournament. So, you know what to do. Go to the fridge, grab a drink, come back, and let's hang out with Dave G. and Scott T., the presidents of the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club. All right, welcome to the Crokinole Happy Hour. We have Scott and Dave from the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, thanks for having us.
All right. So, Scott, what are you drinking tonight? What are you bringing to the table? Then we'll go to Dave.
Well, I got a couple things. Just as a little sipper, I got a little Bud Light, but as a really little sipper, I got a little Whistle Pig, little rye, Vermont. So
is that from Vermont? Is that
they claim it is, but I think they just hold it in the casks here, maybe age it here in Vermont. I'm not sure. It says it's bottled in Vermont, bottled in Shoreham, Vermont.
Shoreham.
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 H-O-R-H-A-M. It's about now probably 20 miles south of Shelburne.
So how old is it? That's the key question.
Well, you know what, Dave? Not as old as you.
Nothing's as old as me.
It says 10 years, but it's a good little sipper.
Oh, God, 10 years.
I could bring the pappy out if you really wanted me to,
That's a junior.
Why did you bring the pappy out?
Oh, hold on. I'll be right back. You guys talk, and I'll be back.
All right. Dave, what do you got for us?
Oh, I got the good stuff here, boy. Balbany 21-year-old single malt.
Wow. Bringing out the good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Go big or go home. That's my motto.
Yeah. So do you have a repertoire full of those single malts?
Yeah, I have quite a few now, actually, yeah. I got a couple I just retired. So I got a couple of nice ones for retirement gifts from my colleagues. So I added those to the stash, and I've got some other stuff up there, some Jim Beam, some 1802 bourbon, a couple of some vodka somewhere.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't drink all that much, but there's the good stuff. Pappy
Van Winkle 20-year. This is, well, if you can get it at retail, it's about $170. If you can't get it, you're going to pay about $1,000 for this sucker. And there's a little bit left. Woo.
What did so were you lucky enough to get the retail price on that, or did you have to?
Back in the day, you call the state up and you just said, "Hey, I'm looking for a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle," and they would say, "Okay, we're going to put you on a waiting list. Where do you want to pick it up?" And of course, I would use the Beverage Warehouse in Winooski, and my friend ran the store or owns the store, and she would say, "Hey, we got a bottle for you." So I go down and boom, done. And now it's all lottery, so it's kind of sucks, but whatever.
Yeah, but Scott, there's only one problem with that 20-year-old Pappy.
What's that?
It does not beat the 21-year-old Balbany.
He's got you by a year.
Whatever. I'll take my 20 against your stupid 21-year-old.
But no, I'm joining you guys. I'm not drinking bourbon or scotch, but it's a little hot out here in the shed, so I got a little Southern Tier live session ale. So guys, thank you so much for coming on.
I want to give
Appreciate it.
Dave a quick little cheer, Jason, before we start, just on his retirement. God bless him. And I don't know if you knew this, but
Absolutely.
Dave served for many years and, became a civilian, and he's worked a lot of years. And Dave's one of my best friends, so cheers to Dave.
Thank you,
Here's
sir.
to Dave, man.
52 years and I'm done.
That a boy. Now you got to start running a Crokinole Club.
Yeah. He needs to do more things.
Well, we were doing that.
We're trying. We were trying.
Yeah, so speaking of that.
We were doing pretty good, too.
We were. We had steam.
You were doing great. A couple of us went up there to your guys' inaugural tournament. We had a blast. You guys, right off the gate, you guys did a great job with that tournament.
Well, thanks to you guys for helping us with the organization, too.
Trust me, there was a lot of emails between you and I, Jason, about what we should do and what kind of format we should have. And, what's cool is you gave me a few suggestions, but you said, it's up to you. We'll do whatever you want. And, you guys were professionals for the most part, and we're a bunch of amateurs. And you guys really did a great job. You made the tournament a ton better. And we thank you for making the trip that weekend. It was great. Wish you could have stayed another day.
Oh, we wish we could stay another day, too.
It's a long drive. Yep.
It is.
Hey, it wasn't that bad. It was, I don't know, what was it, about like 2.5, 3 hours for us. But, we were really excited to go up there and see how you guys played but we went in there and it was just set up perfectly. We walked right in and it went like a well-oiled machine. We went there, we were there all day. We played the singles tournament. And then after the singles tournament was done, we all had some fun playing doubles, and that's all we wanted to do is come up and play crokinole. And we found that I found out that you guys are pretty similar to our club and the nature of everybody that's in your club. And we just ate, drank, played crokinole all day, and we just had a ball. So you guys, for being, I don't know, how old was your club when you had the tournament last November?
What do you think, Scott? About a month?
About a month.
Not even. I remember emailing.
Oh, yeah.
I emailed Jeremy about something. I can't remember what the hell it was. Maybe a boar. I don't know. And he said, if you're looking for a club, you should contact this guy from the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club in Voorhees, New York. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And I looked on your website. I'm like, okay, these guys seem cool. And, of course, as soon as I emailed you, you emailed me back. And I can remember I was on business. I think I was in, Virginia. And I was just pounding away at the keyboard, emailing you that week. And it was a good start. And it was so the story of Crokinole in Vermont started like this. So Dave and I got to know each other through a pinball club. We're highly competitive pinball players. Dave was,
wait a second. We're not that competitive.
Well, we try to be competitive, Dave. We may not be the top 100 in the world, but we're competitive enough to, pretend at least we know what we're doing. And I'll never forget where it was like a Friday at the co-op, the pinball co-op in South Burlington, Vermont. And I said, Dave, what are you doing this weekend? He goes, I'm going to go to Turtle Island for a crokinole tournament. And me and my buddy Gary, who was in our tournament back in November, we just was like, what the frick is he talking about? Crokinole? What the hell's crokinole? And Dave tried to explain it, and it just was like, just don't, but go have fun. And I had a get-together probably a few months later, and I said, all right, bring your stupid crokinole board. And he did, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So that's how, and we played until like 2 in the morning.
I think that was at your pizza barbecue, or was that Thanksgiving? Yeah, that was the pizza barbecue. And then we played at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually went out to Turtle Island to get the board from Jeremy Tracy.
Yeah. And how'd you now when you got out there, Dave? What did you think of that tournament and competitive crokinole in general?
Oh, I had watched a bunch of YouTube. I came on crokinole the way I come on a lot of things. I was Googling for something else. Probably something like wooden game boards or something like that, because I've been a board gamer for my entire life. And I stumbled on it. And wow, that looks like fun. So I started watching videos, watching guys like, I can't think of his name now, Slater and, Ray
Conrad, probably.
Zierlein and some of those guys playing. And of course, watching them is like watching professional golfers. You're never going to be that good, but I thought to myself, wow, that looks like fun. So I did some more browsing and found out that there was a tournament in about 60 days. So this would have been like late spring, probably I think 2 years ago. So about 2018, probably spring 2018 is when I first found out about it. And that summer, I ran out to Turtle Island for their tournament. And DR Henry runs a great tournament. It's very family friendly. Kids play, adults play, grandmas, grandpas, just a big family event, lots of food to eat, and just a real good kind of laid back time. But the competitive division is serious, so I decided I'd play recreational that time and I had a great time doing it. I came in, I think, second in recreational, which was great for me. I didn't know what I was doing.
Was that your first time playing Crokinole?
Yeah.
And you got second in the recreational division?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, rec division is, a lot of kids and a lot of old folks. So the competition wasn't that high, but, I was still happy to do it. And I had a good time doing it. So I got the board from Jeremy right there. I had ordered one and he was going to deliver it there, which he did. So I brought that back and then I decided to see who I could hook around here. And I got, my addictive personality friend, Scott Tipson, and got him hooked on it.
You need that one guy that's just very, outgoing. And, Scott, you took that once you played, right? And you're like, were you the one to say, let's start a club, or was it both of you guys?
Well, we've both been talking about it, but there's been too much talk, and I finally said, all right, Dave, we're going to do a tournament in November. And I just picked November. And we started, spinning it around our own circles. We thought we'd actually get a lot more people interested from our pinball club because there's a lot of competitive people, a lot of great people. And unfortunately, it was during the same weekend as a big tournament that they hosted. So we missed a few. And then we just, we found the venue. Of course, I wasn't sure if the venue would be good enough because I was trying to press you guys too. I didn't want to, come to some piece of shit venue where you guys were getting run out or there's some, who knows, because, Winooski, Vermont, man, it's a blue collar town and
we get run out on our own. We don't need you guys to run us out of there.
But it turned out, we just kind of wung it, Dave and I, and once I got the email out, it was like, okay, now we're going to do it. And it was sometimes you just got to send that first email out to get things going. And, you guys, you right away commented, said, oh, okay, so we could have 10 people here. And I'm like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden it was like 3, but even 3 was great. It was more than we even expected. So, and then it just kind of, died, not really because of anything other than this coronavirus, because we were all excited about, going to your tournament. And, me and Dave were ready to start talking some smack and finishing, second to last place.
Yep.
And then, I wanted to crash Magic Mike's camp and, have a little, tournament down there like you guys had. I've seen those videos. That seems like a great weekend, man.
The Kraken on the lake, yeah. I don't know. Magic might be watching this. We just like you guys, like the future's uncertain right now, especially for this year, this summer.
Yeah.
But if we can make that happen, that'd be great. And if Magic, Magic's a little older, and this whole Corona thing, affects different people in different ways. So we might not have it up there this year, but we might have a little summer gathering. I actually wanted to do a little like fundraising tournament for the American Legion at some point. That's where we have our club nights.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about having like a summer tournament where all the entry fees goes to them because they had their doors closed too, and they run on a very shoestring budget. And I was going to try to see if I could figure something out where we can play safely, and whoever would want to play in that. But
just we all have our opinions, and we all listen to our favorite news channel, and depending on which one, you get a different story. So,
Right.
I think, by next year, I think we'll be able to rev up for sure. And, you talked about having like a Northeast challenge, and I would love that, especially in the United States.
Yep.
We would be absolutely more than welcome to host. Um, One of our locations is a great, right, Dave? The Eagles Club would be a great place for a tournament. Isn't it beautiful in there? Ton of
Oh
room.
yeah, I was going to say, wait till you see the facility that Scott got us hooked up with at the Elks Club in Burlington. The place is absolutely phenomenal.
That's great. I was going to ask you that too. So, did you guys get an established place? I know the last time I talked to you back in the fall, you guys were kind of floating around a little bit and not really established in one
Yeah.
place. So, could this be, when it starts back up again, could this be the place you guys meet
It could
consistent
be.
basis?
Yeah, it could be. The funny thing about it is, we were both searching at the same time, and literally probably the same day, Dave makes a deal with a little board club, and I make a deal with the Eagles Club, and so now we have two places. The board club is more of a family atmosphere. I don't know that it's real conducive for tournaments, huh, Dave? But the Eagles Club for sure, they could host 200 people without a question.
Yeah, the boardroom is not at all suitable for tournament use. It's mostly just it's okay for club use where, a half a dozen people or maybe a dozen people show up for a club night. And that's what we're doing there. We're trying to keep that session a little more family oriented. They do have beer there, but there's no hard liquor or anything. And of course, a lot of kids around, so you kind of have to behave yourself a little. And then out at the Elks Club, it's basically all adults, so it's a lot more flexible environment. They bigger out there too. They could probably seat. What would you say, Scott? I'll bet you could seat 60.
Well, it's all depending on how big the tables are, but I don't know if you were there when the guy brought us upstairs. There's another room upstairs that could be just completely shut off, and the main tables are super big. They're like ridiculously big, which wouldn't be good for Crokinole, but there were some square tabletops. Trust me, we can make it work, no problem there if we had to, and I think they would like the business. We did our league on Wednesday nights because that was the night where they had nothing going on. Hoping to get a little bit of club turnout to start asking like what's this, and we had one guy actually that was interested, but it's just Wednesday nights at this club is like pretty dead.
You guys, that's interesting. Like you guys said, you talked to one, Scott, you talked to one venue, Dave, you talked to another, and Scott, you said, oh, well, I pitched the deal this way to these guys, and Dave pitched it this way. For people who don't know how to go and, talk to a venue about, maybe possibly setting up a club or something, like how did the deal go down?
I can tell you what I did with the boardroom. So the boardroom is a commercial business here in Winooski, Vermont, just outside Burlington. It might as well be Burlington for all.
Actually, it is. I think officially it is Burlington, Dave, because it's over the bridge.
Yeah. So anyway, it's Burlington, and what they do is they have a cafe that they just opened, and they're a new business, probably not in existence more than about the same time as our tournament, November or so of last year. And they have a $6 a head cover charge. You go there, and they have a library of about 500 board games that you can sit down and play, and you can stay as long as you want. And they serve basic family bar food and beer and soda and ice cream, things like that. So it's just a very fun family place to go. So I heard about them opening, and I went over because I'm a huge board gamer and always have been, and said, I've got this thing called Crokinole that I've been looking for a place to start up a club. And, I explained that Scott and I had done a tournament at the RVA there in Winooski, and that we were looking for, a place to kind of hang our hat. And they were really excited to take a look at it. So I basically went down there with a couple of boards one evening, set the boards up, and taught their staff how to play. And of course, they, like anybody, just immediately fell in love with it. And they're like, oh, we got to do this. So I was like, fine. I'll talk to Scott and we'll see what we can set up. And then when I called Scott and talked to him, he's like, "Oh, I got this great place out in the north end of Burlington." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds cool too." So we went over there and checked that out. And, we have a couple people that come and they do both sessions. We have some people that I suspect will only do one or the other, but that's okay. And may turn out in the long end, long term that we end up just doing one. But for now, we're doing both. We started doing leagues in both, but that kind of went down with the virus. So, that's kind of come to a halt for now. So hopefully we can get that going back again. We, two people that did come already bought a board, so that's a good sign. So that's nice.
Was the cafe gonna waive the fee if you're like, hey, can we, we'll order whatever you got there, food, drinks, but for a club, could you maybe waive the fee or put a half price if you're with, the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club or?
I think they did waive it that first night, Dave, didn't they?
They did, yeah. And I didn't push them for that because, frankly, $6 for, 4 or 5 hours of crokinole didn't really bother me much.
Yeah.
So, and plus I want them to succeed. So
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking that they're not charging enough for their services anyway.
I agree.
Yeah, so I'm a little worried that that's going to bite them in the butt eventually.
Yeah, it really is a nice place to go. It's a beautiful old building. They renovated, and the food's simple. It's just like a bunch of different sandwiches, the grilled cheese type stuff, but it's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they make a blue cheese roast beef grilled cheese sandwich. It's to die for.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey Scott,
so what was your deal? Tournament. What's that, Jason?
What was your deal on the other place there?
I went kind of a more somber story, but my buddy's mom died, and we went to a reception there. And I've also had, so I belong to a thing called SABRE, which is a Society for American Baseball Research. And we had a meeting there one day, and I was with my girlfriend. I'm like, you know what? This would be a great room for a crokinole tournament. It was gorgeous. So Dave, where we play, they had a divider, and they had probably 10 of those square tables where they have the dining room now. And I was like, this is perfect. And so my buddies whose mom passed away, I said, hey, do you know the person that runs the Eagles? And he goes, yeah, it's so-and-so, and his name is Maurice or Mo. So I called him, and he said, oh, that'd be great. Let me just bring it to the board and see what they think, but I don't think they'll have a problem. And, of course, there's nights where they have their own thing, where they, have board meetings and all this stuff. But, I went in, I'm like, this is perfect. There's really nothing going on Wednesday nights. It was a good fit. And I just said, let's do it. And, we had probably the first night, 10 people. We call ourselves our league, but it's not like your league where it's consistent and competitive. It's more, we keep track of stuff just for,
Yeah. And the one thing I worry about is I'm not a native Vermonter. I've only been here since 1985, I think.
Jeez.
But I've always got the impression that Vermonters are not necessarily joiners. So getting clubs growing up here seems to be troublesome.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, so I've done all kinds of hobbies: RC racing, RC flying, you name it. And trying to get a group together that stays together up here is very, very difficult. So it's going to be a long road to hoe, but I guess we'll see how it works out.
You got to put the right carrot in front of these people, though. You know what I mean? Got to find out, okay, what does everybody want to shoot for here? After you've had a couple social events, right? And then you're like, okay, now you're gonna still have an hour or so social play, but we're gonna do the league, and you're gonna however you guys would want to do it. But you got to find out what's that common. What does everybody want to be? Does Scott want to beat Dave and and be the champion of the whole club so he can tell?
Scott always wants to beat Dave, but that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. But I guess maybe find something that everybody wants to have, like a trophy or something. Like we got the got our beer yard here that is our
cool.
trophy. We also play for cash too, which is a very very incentive thing to come and try to win. And
But I
you
feel
win
like at
you win
first that's
every night.
intimidating for people. If people, go to a tournament and haven't played and they see, oh, it's cash game, they're gonna be like, intimidated by it. People like Dave and I who've played a few times, and I think we're comfortable with throwing a couple bucks in a pot, but most people aren't going to be at first. It's just trying to get this thing up started. It's, there's a ton of breweries around here that we've thought and we've gone over it tooth and nail, and it's just some places aren't set up for this kind of thing. And I don't want to go into a brewery and have people not drink, because they're there to make money.
No, that's what you have to establish it for when you go to an establishment, right? You got to say, okay, hey, this is what we got. Will this work for you, and will work for us? And of course, you want that type of atmosphere, right? That party atmosphere, and
Right.
And that loosens people up, and
So I'm guessing, Jason, just from the little I've, gotten to know about you and your club, that, you guys were probably a bunch of good friends who, played in the garage, it looked like, and then all of a sudden other people were like, what's this? And,
yeah, well, we started
separation,
we started playing with, I don't know, this is my shed, and this is where our first league was.
Yeah.
This is enough for this table and another table over there. We had 2 boards going our first league. I moved into this small town that year, and my second cousin Ed Steady Eddie, he came up with us. He's been here for he just turned 51 or 52 or whatever, but he's been here for a long time, and he knows a bunch of people that he runs. He plays golf. He plays all sorts of stuff that he knew people. And I come in and I show him the game, and then I get him hooked, and then he tells his buddies that are in town, and then, and I told my buddies where I was from originally. And of course, and I ran a dart league before this, so I had a lot of guys that were used to my formats and stuff and how we, the atmosphere that we play in. And we started with 2 boards, and we had 12 guys our first league in this shed, and then that's how it grew. And then other people started telling their friends about it, and then we had to move out of the shed because my neighbors. I couldn't have my neighbors. We were playing till 1, 2 in the morning, and I'm like, I can't have. And the neighbors didn't complain, but I'm like, eventually it's going to be a little too much because we're all out here drinking, playing music, and
I love it.
Being competitive about something. That's when we moved down to the American Legion town. So, and that is the center point of our town, believe it or not, and it's very easy. See, I'm in a good situation too. It's very easy for people to go either walk there or drive a little bit to the middle of town, play, and then leave. So
yeah,
I got a perfect storm going here. But met a lot of new friends playing Crokinole, and a lot of my old friends come play too.
And I can relate to that in a way because I had an uncle that had a garage where we partied. And they had a heater, and I can see, being a few boards in there, just being us playing Crokinole. It's just cool, and that's great. You had that, and we just did it. And Dave and I are trying, not probably too. We probably could do a better job in it and promoting, but you know what? We're happy playing. I can go to Dave's house and we play. Go down to his basement, play a few games of flipper, and we get sick of that, and we go upstairs and we'll take the Tracy board out and we'll play. 15, 20, 100, 100 games of Crokinole, and we have fun,
But, you just mentioned before that, you had 2 new players come in, or I believe it was a couple. Yep. Did they have their board? Did they find out about you guys? They had their board, or they Dave, and then bought a board?
Yeah, Dave was the one that, had that. Remember, we had 2 places. So we had the boardroom in Burlington, Vermont, which is kind of a board game, and Dave had a Crokinole night, and they showed up. Dave, I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, so that was basically when I got started with the boardroom. They wanted to have a night where people could come in and learn to play the game, not just the staff who I had already taught, but to have some of their customers come in. So I said, absolutely, I'll bring a couple boards and we'll set up I actually went so far as to I left a board there for them so that they can have people play it when we're not there. I had a spare board from that I'd gotten from Crokinole Depot. It's not quite the quality of a Tracy board, but it's okay. So we left it there along with a set of discs and some powder, basic supplies for them. And they're responsible for keeping the supplies up as they need it. But I told them I'd leave the board there permanently. That's not bothering me at all to have one there. I've still got two at home. So these two folks showed up and they got absolutely hooked. Found out we were doing something at the Elks Club and started coming out there too. And then I think they were out, maybe it was about 3 weeks in, and they're like, "What's that Tracy guy's name?" So I gave Jeremy's name and they ordered a board. And they've been playing at home ever since. They still come out, whenever we have events.
So after Dave came over my house and I realized that I wanted to have a Crokinole board, I knew that if I bought top of the line, my girlfriend would give me a bunch of shit, and I was like, I thought I'd play twice and never play again. So I went online and I, did a lot of research, and it was basically Tracy or this place called Muzzy's, which is out of Nova Scotia. And they were a little bit cheaper, but not much. But I'm like, I'm going to buy the cheaper one because I'm going to play this for about a week and never play it again. So I bought the Muzzy board. And Jason, I don't know if you remember, but at the championship ring at the, the tournament we had, that was my board. It's a good board. They do a good job, I think. Yeah. But I think Tracy boards are the best, honestly. And I feel bad because, Jeremy's such an ambassador to the sport or the gaming community for Crokinole that I wish I would have bought one off him, but I will buy one at some point, Yeah,
well, I want to, my intention is to take the logo that we've had designed for us. A local graphic artist who also happens to be a pinball friend of ours designed a bunch of logos for us. So we have a set of logos for the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club, and I want Jeremy to put one on a board for us.
Yeah.
I'll probably order that once things open up again a little bit.
Yep. Good idea.
I'm sure he'll oblige.
Oh
sure,
yeah. He's very open to.
Do you think he really will?
Yeah.
He's got some, and so Crokinole Depot, Dave. Jeremy, Crokinole Game Boards makes boards for Crokinole Depot.
Yeah.
Just so you know, and I don't know if that was before. No,
I think he probably still does. And like I said, the playing surface on the board I left at the boardroom is top notch. But the foundation, instead of being solid, it's basically masonite, I think. The ditch is a little narrower than a standard ditch, and the walls aren't nearly as thick and sort of like what's the word, firm, I guess, or stable as the traditional boards are. So they're a little cheaper. Actually, they're a lot cheaper. But for play purposes, they play just like a tournament board. So I didn't have any problem leaving one down there because, somebody playing on it is going to learn to play just as well on that as they will on a Tracy or a Muzzy or a Holinsky or whichever one you buy,
So what's the format of your club nights, like or leagues or whatever? Do you guys start off playing singles and then you introduce doubles, or is it a doubles night, or is there a singles night?
How does that Wild West.
Is it?
Yeah, we just wing it. I mean, we call ourselves a league, but we really aren't a true league. We try to do some standings and we put it on our website, but it's just, you never know who's going to show up because there's not a lot of dedicated people at this point. Dave and I, my girlfriend, showed up a lot, Maggie, and the couple showed up, but we're the 5 that always show up, and there's like 6 other people that might show up. So it's like, you can't have a league on might,
What about having a sign up for a league? Say, we'll have our open nights, but just so you guys, even if like people don't sign up, but like just so you know,
well,
here's the league. This is what we're doing. You would pay into the league, and you'll get, you can win the money back, or however you guys want to format it. then you would know who's interested, who's gonna be there for the most part. Because if they don't show up, they don't get they don't have a chance of winning some of their money back.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
actually
but
really,
at this
that's
point,
actually
we're not
really good
even
idea.
charging.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't charge here either. Everyone, we put in our money and we format it so every like team point you win or every point is valued at the dollar that everyone puts in. Like last year, what was it? Every team point that in the fall, every team point that you won, or every game that you won, game the 5 that you won $4. You knew that if you win a game, it's a team point and it's worth $4 out of everybody's money, not your money. And then that kind of like makes people like, okay, I kind of don't want to miss this crokinole night because I could be forfeiting, my investment. Okay, like most people want to break even, and and that's why I think doubles is a good way to get a league going and interest going, because you can split it up. Like Scott and Dave will not be on the team. You could be split the league in 2, experienced players, not experienced players, and those will be teamed up. So you have a teammate that's more experienced that can kind of carry you through if you're worried about not carrying your weight.
Yep. Yeah, it's actually a good idea for our restart, I think, is to have a pre-league sign up. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, and that kind of puts that, when they sign their name, it might be them saying, okay, I'm going to commit to this as best as I can. People aren't going to make every night, but
of course not.
You're going to have an idea, and you're going to know that, hey, we got Jimmy and Sally and all them, like they're going to be here. If they're not, they're going to let us know. That's when you call in subs. Hey, do you want to come? Like even people that aren't really interested, you want to come and play as a sub just to check it out, and then that's how you can probably hook some more people too.
Yep.
That's just the way I think about it when running this league here. We got a lot of new members from subs subbing in for regular members that can't make it some nights.
Yeah, I had some. Of course, I had some plans for this year that didn't materialize because of the whole lockdown. But there's a gaming conference or convention, I guess you'd call it, that takes place at the fairground here in Burlington. It's mostly for game designers, but it is open to the public, and I was going to do a crokinole demonstration there, but that got canceled, of course. And then as a board gamer, I attend a convention every year. Used to be in Killington, and this year it's going to be somewhere a little further down south.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I forget where it is, but it's called Carnage. It's a huge 3-day board game convention, and I've taught crokinole there for the last 3 years, I think now, or 2 years. And I had very good, participation in that. So I'm hoping that eventually that'll bear some fruit.
Problem though, Dave, is when you're down there, people are going to drive to Burlington for an hour and a half to play.
There's a lot of Burlington area people there.
Yeah. We're close, and I think we had a little bit of steam going, and this COVID thing happened, and it is what it is. You and I are going to keep playing every now and then and have fun and talk shit to each other, and
I tell you, we got to try the internet thing.
Oh yeah, the Zoom. Nick Osmore, who is ranked 3rd in New Hampshire, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Well, you got to talk to him about that. He runs on. You can get to him on Zoom. There's a Zoom Crokinole. You guys are familiar with that. I don't know if anybody else is. There's quite a bit of people that are on there. He developed him and this guy Ian Witt from over in Britain. England, that kind of set this thing up where there's virtual tournaments, and I did it. My club, 4 guys from my club took on the Extra Point Texas chapter a few weeks ago, and what it is like you have this camera right here, and then you have on Zoom you have I used my phone for a direct shot over, and so when you can, and then there's an administrator. And all these people are in the room, like all of us, and our boards would be on, And then they would say, okay, we played a round robin format. Like, okay, Jay's playing Scott. The administrator would take the boards, the camera shots of us and our boards to a separate room where it'd just be, for example, Scott and I playing each other. And it sounds very meticulous, but with Zoom, it's like instant. So, and if you have an overhead shot, if everybody has the same shot, you can see where the discs are on the board exactly, because you use the pegs as a point of reference. And you would be surprised how I don't know. It would seem very annoying, but it's not. It's fairly quick considering what you have to do. And it was a lot of fun. And everybody kept track of their score. And then points were tallied after each round. We played the other club, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's not something you'd want to do every day, but in the absence of being able to play at all, oh hell yes.
Yeah, and it was a great alternative. It's not ideal, but it's still Crokinole.
Yep.
And that I'm like, I kind of was interested, but then once we started doing it, like, it was a lot of fun, and it was just so good to play Crokinole against somebody again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're all excited to do the Vermont Turkey Challenge, because it's November.
Yep.
I think that's our month, November. There's not a lot going on in Vermont other than deer hunting. So
Yeah, probably not going to happen this year, but maybe next year.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't say never, but let's start planning for 2021, and let's be realistic about this. And Dave and I are pre-signing up right now for the U.S. Open 2021.
Yeah, you guys are in. You're already in. We already got you.
Yeah, that was a bummer. We were looking forward to that.
Anything we can do to support you, we're here, and we have no problem driving down the date early, help you set up for that, whatever you need, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, we were looking forward to just seeing you guys again, and everybody else that comes in for the tournament. It sucked, but what are you gonna do? I mean,
yeah, it sucks.
It was gonna be a really fun day, but it's gonna happen again. So don't worry.
I remember texting you probably 2 months before. I'm like, oh man, this sucks. He goes, oh, we're having the tournament. And I was like, I don't think we are. But I said, okay, I like your optimism. But
no, I was gung ho. But that was when like the restrictions were less than 500 people.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, yeah, we're doing it. But
Scott and I were registered to go to the World Championship. I assume you were too. Yeah.
Yeah, and. Damn, that would be next week, right?
Yeah. That would be 2 great weekends with you awesome people from New York, Hey,
yeah, no, we would have
the Americans go up north and invade the Canadians, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they like taking our money, that's for sure. But the American money, that's heavy.
Oh, I love those greenbacks up there. Don't you, Jeremy Tracy?
No, Those guys are awesome up there for sure.
Yeah.
I've definitely learned a lot from watching them and playing against them. And, we're right there with them. They just have that competitive edge on us now, but they know it's coming.
Yeah, they've been playing since 1860 or whatever it was.
All right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's embedded in their DNA for sure. So, I mean, do you guys? I know it's such up in the air right now, but do you guys have a somewhat of a plan or an idea? If you do you have okay, let's say this ends, the restrictions ends, and then there's like some kind of guideline. Do you have like an outdoor pavilion that you guys could play in for the summer or something like that? Are you thinking that far ahead, or are we just waiting to see?
Just play day by day.
Yeah, at least for myself, I'm kind of in wait mode. The 2 venues that we have, they can't open yet. The boardroom might be able to open for small groups of 10 or less, but that means, even though they're open, you still got to get people that want to go. So, I mean, I have any number of people who I board game with, and, we're typically in groups of 4 or 5, and most of them still don't want to get together, even though we legally could. Most of them don't want to risk it. So I'm really not expecting to see much action this year at all. not that I'm worried about it. I mean, I don't really care. I wear a mask when I go to the store because I have to.
Right.
And it makes other people feel more comfortable, but I could care less. I've had people over to play pinball onesies, twosies now and then for other guys like me that don't really worry about it too much. But I don't expect to see any big gatherings here in Vermont till next year.
No, I don't think so. And Vermont's been pretty safe about the whole thing. And hey, I'm no doctor. I'm not an epidemiologist, but no one knows what's going on. We don't.
Yeah, this looks like you guys are freezing up just a little bit. But yeah, it's like the same here. Like we're waiting to see where the cards fall. But I'm very optimistic about getting people together again, and some of my club members aren't really gung ho about it either. But
Yeah.
It's something we just got to work out, and eventually it's going to get back to the full steam again. Eventually, we just don't know when that's going to be. That's all. But I'd like to think ahead and think of solutions that you could do, for sure. Like this, charity tournament I want to do. I think we can have that outside the Legion, and I think that's doable.
Be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you're.
Looks like we're a little.
Remember this, JC? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're breaking up a little bit, but that's okay. Go ahead.
I just said that I don't know if you remember this when you came out to our tournament. We had a little
talking about the end of the tournament last. If like you guys said you had squirt bottles. Oh, you had like Perel or something, right?
Yeah, just on each in case anybody felt the need to wash up before each game.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think the best part is wearing a mask while you play, and I think that's enough. I think because the study came out from the CDC just recently, that it's not transferred from hard surfaces that easily.
Yeah, I'm 47 years old. I've never had the flu in my life.
Wow.
I'm scared of getting this, but you know what? It's like I don't know. There's just too much unknown, and I don't know what to believe. And I know there's something going on, and I know it's serious. That's all I know. I'm not a doctor. Like I said earlier, I'm not an epidemiologist. I don't know the answers to this.
Right, but if we're going to take a standard, the CDC would probably be the best one right now. Yeah, that's what everyone can agree on. And they're saying that hard surfaces don't transmit this. So it's face-to-face talking. So if we take care of the breathing out of the mouth, mask while you play, it's going to be a little uncomfortable for 15 minutes, 8 minutes, however long you play for. Okay, and then you could take it off and drink your beer, backing up social distance when you're outside. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Holy crap, Tip, you're only 47?
That's it, Dave. I'm not 200 like you are.
God, I thought you were way older than that.
47. I know.
I think this is my phone that's screwing everything up here. I'm trying to get this Facebook question here.
Oh, it looks like I'm 22 still. But Jason, how old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 38. I'm going to be 39 in a week.
Jeez.
Oh,
Dave, he's a little
youngster.
Pop. I know. I'm a little guy.
Young whippersnapper.
I don't look like it, but I sure am. So I had a question on Facebook. I told everybody that representatives of your club would be on, and the Extra Point Houston, and I had a question for you guys, and this is from Phil H. He says, this is great as we will be starting a club soon. My question to you guys is to build a club, did you reach out to any specific audience, such as board game clubs, to spread the word? Did you use any special advertising approaches or just word of mouth? That's from Phil H. from our Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll start this. And to start, it was word of mouth. Of course, Dave, word of mouth it to me. And we had fun. And I told a buddy who was in our pinball club. It started in our pinball club. To be honest.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. We kind of covered most of that already,
Yep.
but
But we didn't advertise, nothing in the paper. We just, word of mouth.
Yeah,
right.
so just a sort of like executive summary. We haven't done any advertising. We've done a lot of word of mouth, and I've done a lot of demos against board gamers that I know or that I run into or conventions that I go to. So that's pretty much all we've done so far. I was hoping to ramp that up this year once I retired, but obviously the COVID has kind of killed that. But hopefully next year, once this kind of clears up or gets back to semi-normalcy, I would really like to ramp up what we're doing up here and try to get a good group going if we can.
I agree, Dave.
Any advice for people that are like Phil that are like toying with the idea of starting a new club? Is there any kind of
You need to have a nucleus. Your nucleus are the 4 people who like it. You gotta have 4. You know what I mean, or at least 2 people that like it. If you're one person and you're, wherever you are, you gotta find someone to play with. So recruit them and go from there. When I had trouble, you and I had some emails.
All right, repeat that one last time. Sorry.
I said, when we first started out, I emailed you a lot, and you had a lot of great advice. So, what do you suggest?
Well, I was just like basically the same thing, right? Like get the nucleus going, meet at a certain place, like places that you want your club to represent, like the atmosphere your club wants to represent. Like we want it to be like this shed, right? Because we had a lot of fun here. So we went into not a somewhat family. We didn't go family friendly. We went guys playing poker and darts in the shed, drinking, music playing, competitive, little money. That's how we wanted to. That was us, and that's how we had fun. So we wanted to keep that going. So we picked a venue that represented that.
Yeah, and to Scott's point, that's kind of the nucleus thing. So you guys had your nucleus. You knew what you wanted to do, and that's what you really need to develop is find a group of 4 or 5 guys who want to play crokinole. Figure out how they want to play crokinole, and then work around that.
Yeah.
Find yourself a venue that supports that, whether it's a bar or a pub or a fraternal organization, a gaming club, whatever. It has to be a place that's willing to support that. So, like the boardroom where we do one of our events, we'll never have hard liquor there. Like I'm never going to drink a scotch at the boardroom. But over at the Elks Club, I could probably get away with that. So you really have to get that core group together and figure out, as you said, Jason, what kind of club you want to be.
Right.
Yeah, and Dave was our nucleus when we started, because he was the guy that went to Turtle Island and played some crokinole, and and he and I just happened to have a little get together at my house, and he brought his board and we played. So Dave is literally the guy that started it here, no question. And I was like, this is cool because I like little quirky things, and this is fun. It's like curly meat shuffleboard. It's just an easy game. Anybody can play.
Yeah, we were playing it at Thanksgiving at your house with people who had never seen it before, and then in fact, Scott's brother went out and bought a board.
Right. Well, my mom bought it for him for Christmas because she thought he'd get into it, but that's another story.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we're gonna put all your information down in the description below. That's Scott and Dave from the Lake Champlain Crokinole Club. Give them, contact them anytime you want. As you know, they're awesome guys. If you're on that area, or even if you're another club that has questions for them, give them a shout. And they're there for you.
You never know. I'm retired now, so I'm going to be traveling some. I may show up at a Crokinole Club somewhere, and nobody will know who I am.
All right, here's to the LCC.
Yeah, thanks,
right
man. Jason, thanks for having us on, man. You know, you're probably America's biggest ambassador for this, and
Oh,
keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep plugging. We're gonna have our U.S. Open next year, no question.
Thanks, guys.
Just don't be too sad when Vermont takes a cup home. That's all.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, maybe it might happen. You never know.
We're gonna beat the shit out of you guys, so you can't even play. So we're gonna have technicality.
Scott is nothing if not a good smack talker.
All right, guys, be good, man.
All right, brother.
Hey, take care, Jason.